Hello and welcome to WolfWare Reviews. My name is Daylen and I'm here with Sam, and today we're going to be looking at the Nintendo GameCube.
In this show, we plan on giving you the specifications of the console along with a little history, as well as the unique and separate perspectives of the retro gamer and the modern gamer.
After Nintendo's smooth transition into 3D gaming, Nintendo finally began development on Project Dolphin, or as we all know today as the GameCube, in March 3rd, 1999, the day after Sony announced the PS2. The GameCube was first mentioned as the successor to the N64. The GameCube was the second 6th-gen home console to be released in America, squeezing in between the PS2 and the Xbox's release in November 18, 2001. The GameCube is technically considered a commercial failure due to only selling 22 million units. While it didn't do as great as the PS2 or the original Xbox in America, that doesn't mean it was an inferior console.
This console includes a 485 MHz processor, the ATI Flipper graphics processor, which clocked in at 202 MHz, 24 megabytes of system RAM, and games usually ran at about 480i and 480p with very rare component cables. Games came in mini DVDs that held around 1.5 gigabytes of storage. GameCube had internet capabilities with the Ethernet modem adapters. GameCube also had a few adapters such as the Game Boy Player, which allows you to play Game Boy games. Game Boy to GameCube adapter, which allowed you to connect your Game Boy to the GameCube and use the Game Boy as a map for some games and just a controller for others, and for numerous other things on a game-by-game basis.
But hardware isn't everything. Here are some games that we've chosen for you.
We will start with my side, that of the modern gamer. I realize that this term is one that identifies a lot of people, so allow me to elaborate. While my first console was the PlayStation 2, my fondest memories are on the Xbox 360 with a litany of first-person shooters and games that are relatively easy.
Nintendo.
The first game from my side of things is Animal Crossing, a quaint little community simulator that has you living the life of a stranger in a new town. This game is very leisurely and fun to play if you have plenty of spare time to talk to all of your neighbors and do some fishing, bug catching, or digging. The game doesn't look all that great in comparison to many other games that came out in the same year, which is to be expected as it was originally planned to be made for the defunct N64 DD. The game was a gigantic time sink because it lives up to its genre. I felt somewhat connected to my virtual little town, and the people in it, and not many games can do that for me. My next game is Super Mario Strikers, an arcade soccer game. I like this game because the controls are great and the game doesn't try to be realistic like the FIFA games. It's a Mario game and it's proud of it. There is nothing quite like tackling Yoshi into an electric fence and stealing the ball, then getting a giant green shell to the face. It's fun, it's intense, it's soccer with a few twists. My next game is surprisingly a fighting game, Soulcalibur 2. Now, I'm not a huge fan of fighting games, mainly because most of what I do is get my ass kicked and get frustrated. With this game though, I don't mind losing and being terrible because it's just so damn fun. Soulcalibur games just feel so much more simple to me, and it has made me a fan of them, at least the first two anyways. If you like poking people with a big ass stick, I suggest you take a look at Soulcalibur. Do you like punching your friends in the face? Do you like minigames that test your reaction times and patience? Then you would love Warioware. Warioware is a collection of minigames that was originally on the Game Boy Advanced. It is incredibly fast-paced and fun to mess around with. The best part about it is that it doesn't seem to get too boring. This game does it right by having enough variety to keep things interesting. If you don't get so frustrated that you throw the GameCube controller through your screen, it is definitely something you can use to pass the time. Or use to get your friends to hate you. Last but not least, Mario Kart Double Dash. The GameCube iteration of the popular kart racer is probably my favorite. I feel like the controls are perfect and drifting is satisfying. Also satisfying is throwing a blue shell all the way from last to screw over the person up front. The game has probably taken up more of my life than any other GameCube game, and if there was an award for game that makes me scream like a banshee at the person next to me 2015, it would go to Double Dash.
Well, Sam might have a few good games, but let's see what I got up my sleeves.
I was wondering if you might recognize a girl in this photograph?
¿Qué carajo estás haciendo aquí? ¡Lárgate, cabrón!
Sorry to have bothered you.
Freeze! I said freeze!
Who says the GameCube was a kid's purple lunchbox? The GameCube was a manly man system with manly man timed exclusives. Resident Evil 4 was an exclusive for the GameCube until it was ported to the PS2, then the PS3, and Xbox 360, and the Wii. Look, the point is, you never trust Capcom to keep faithful exclusives unless your system is the Dreamcast. Resi 4 was the start of the behind-the-back camera style survival horror games. It's a bit different compared to the older Resident Evil games, but I personally think it's got the best pacing out of all the newer games. It's so good I actually beat the game. This is a must-have if you haven't played Resident Evil 4.
Oh, la campana. Es hora de rezar. Tenemos que irnos. Lord Sattler.
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
Nintendo.
I hate the idea that people hated this game and Wind Waker just because it was different. Luigis Mansion isn't a Mario game, I mean, just look at the title. It's somewhat of a horror game slash collect-a-thon. It looks very nice for a launch GameCube game and I recommend anyone to go out and get it. Yeah, you knew I was gonna do this game, huh? Paper Mario Thousand Year Door is the most popular Paper Mario game, and for good reason. It took what everyone loved about the first game and expanded upon it. It's gotta be one of the best, more laid-back RPGs, which is why if you're into any type of RPG and have a GameCube, get this game. It's worth completing. Super Mario Sunshine's got to be the #1 game that splits Mario fans in half. They either hate the game or love it. I personally like this game more than 64 because of how original and well done the water is executed. Besides using FLUDD, the platforming is much more refined compared to 64. Say what you want, but this is the only Mario game on the GameCube and I love it.
While the GameCube is considered a commercial failure, it will never truly appear that way to the people who have played the games. The console is easy to move from place to place, making multiplayer a lot easier, but what makes this console great is that the games are fun, and really that's what any console needs. Fun.
I really think this console was the last great, well-done system we'll see for a while from Nintendo. So when I heard everyone complaining about how Nintendo wanted to change things up with the system's games, it angers me. Especially now when we pretty much just get a reskin of Mario 3 and Zelda Ocarina of Time nowadays. This system's kick-ass and it's worth buying again.
The GameCube was amazingly fun, but commercially not so amazing. Either way, it made its mark on millions of people. But what of Nintendo's competitors? Well, let's take a look back and see how a long rivalry began and ended.